My name is Andrew Nichols. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I was diagnosed with HIV in April of 2004. I choose peace of mind. I choose love and support, to be able to receive that from other people. I choose kindness. I choose soaking up the sunshine and laying on the grass and relaxing. Choosing me is, I think, a daily reminder to choose me, to live healthy for as long as I'm here.
I am Joyce Belton. I am from Columbia, South Carolina. The best thing that you can do is to go out and get yourself tested, because knowing your status is the best resource. And if you have anybody in your family that's living with HIV, be a resource to them. Don't hurt them and don't tear them down.
My name is Jolliffe Serrano, and I'm born and raised in the Bronx, but I currently reside in Staten Island. I was tired of receiving services or lack of services, and people tell me you're not eligible and you're not qualified. And I was like, well, who made the rules? Then what red tape is this? And that got me into advocacy. That got me into changing policy. That got me to fighting for not only the LGBTQ plus community, but for you, for gay men, for entertainers. It helped me find my voice, because there was no one fighting for me. And so once I started fighting for myself, I was like, now I have to fight for everybody else.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining today's conversation. I'm your host and moderator, Dana Pickley. I am the managing director of News is Out, a pioneering queer media collaborative. And on behalf of our entire team, we are so pleased to be hosting this incredible World AIDS Day panel. Today's panel is part of Choose You by Gilead, an initiative that elevates the real stories of people with HIV. You'll hear directly about what has helped them navigate care, relationships, and the day-to-day realities of living with HIV. Now let's turn to our incredible panelists, Andrew, Jolliffe, and Joyce. I'd like to start by hearing a bit about each of you, and can you tell us a bit about yourselves and how long you have been living with HIV?
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm a mental health therapist in Seattle. I was diagnosed with HIV 21 years ago, and part of my practice with therapy is working with others living with HIV who appreciate the shared experience.
Hello, my name is Jolliffe. I'm 39 years of age, currently reside in Staten Island, New York, and I have been living with HIV for 24 years. And I've infused my love of HIV and AIDS advocacy with my entertainment platform, which basically means I'm wherever I'm entertaining, because I'm a fellow drag queen, background dancer, choreographer, and model. Whenever I'm on a stage, I make sure to bring that educational awareness.
Hi, I'm Joyce. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I used to drive a school bus for a living when I first found out about my status. And I've been living with the HIV status for 31 years now.
What did the beginning of your journey with HIV look like? And how did that shape how you care for yourself today? Andrew, let's start with you.
Before I was diagnosed with HIV, I felt like I was a pretty free-spirited person. And then in May 2004, I went into my doctor's office because I was feeling ill for about 6 months and to get some test results. And it was like time slowed down as she walked up to me and she put her hand on my knee and she said, "You tested positive for HIV." And it's really overwhelming at first, but my mom and my sister were incredible. They had given me unconditional love and a lot of support and strength when I needed it the most. And also through some mental health therapy that I started back then, I learned to see HIV as just part of me. And that really started my lifelong journey to discovering more of the core of who I am.
What about you, Ja?
So my HIV journey started out at a young age. I contracted HIV, my first sexual encounter, 15 going to 16. And once I uh, got my diagnosis, I was just pretty much angry because being raised in a heterosexual Catholic Latino household, my sex ed was don't bring a girl home pregnant, and the sex ed curriculum in high school was so heterosexual based, and so being that I felt like I didn't have the tools to prepare myself, it got me angry, and so which led into my advocacy and led into um, finding out supportive ways on how I can engage in my care and that not allow my story to be another young person's story. And so I'm happy to say that through my advocacy, I talk to adolescents, young adults, and anybody that's pretty much willing to listen and hear my story is where I thrive at.
My journey started off, my partner told me I gave him gonorrhea, and I know I didn't. I pacified him and went to the health department. They tested me, told me I didn't. They offered HIV tests, so I said, okay. They told me in 2 months, if I hadn't heard anything, forget about it. 2 months passed, I forgot about it. My test came back late due to them moving. They called my bus office and they waited for me to come in. By the time my hand touched the chair, my tears was flowing, and they apologized and said, unfortunately, my test came back positive.
Everyone's way of life is different. So let's talk about what helps you stay consistent with your treatment and take care of your long-term health as you live your lives. What helps you stay on track with treatment over time?
Yeah, staying on track with my meds is very important to me. One thing that helps with routine overall in my life is that I served 4 years in the Army when I was 18, and creating such a structured routine early in my years really helped me uh, stick to a routine later. Like I'm at 47 now, and slowing down in general and focus on mindfulness really helps me stay healthy both mentally and physically. And as a therapist working with clients who are also living with HIV encourages me to stay consistent because taking care of myself is number one, and having others see that, I think can inspire others to do the same.
Keeping me consistent with my regimen and on my medications. Honestly, everything that brings me joy. As an entertainer, to see the joy, to be able to be my full healthy self and entertain others and to bring joy to their lives, it what helps me consistent. Say, John, you got to take your meds and make sure you are talking to your doctor regular frequently so that you're all on the same page and I'm maintaining my healthy self, going to the gym, staying active, eating healthy. All those things, creating a whole healthy lifestyle is what helps me keep consistent because I love to perform. And that is always my main goal. Stay healthy to perform.
So I faithfully took my regimen, still thinking that I was going to die because I just got sick and tired of everybody saying, you're just going to die. Every time they told me that, I took my pills faithfully every day. And the more I took my pills, the healthier I got. Yes, and I was just living my life and letting my grandchildren and my great grandchildren see that I still can survive.
U equals U stands for undetectable equals untransmittable. Undetectable means there is so little virus in the blood that a lab test can't measure it. According to research, taking HIV treatment as prescribed and getting to and staying undetectable prevents HIV from spreading through sex. So let's talk about U equals U and what it means to you personally. How has learning about U equals U changed the way that you think about your health, your confidence, and relationships?
After inquiring my age diagnosis and taking my medicine for a year, and my virus started going down, and my doctor told me that I was below 50%. And he said, well, you're undetectable. And he shocked me, So the more I took my medicine, and when I got below 20%, and I looked at my partner, I said, boy, I can't give you nothing. I said, because they can't even detect HIV in my bloodstream. And I sit down and explain that to my family also. Say, by God's grace, I'm going to be here for a minute. Undetectable has taught me how to live a healthier life than I am doing before even I became HIV positive.
U equals U means I can live a full connected life without fear of spreading HIV through sex. This is possible if I take and stay consistent on my meds and, like you said, remain undetectable. U equals U gives me hope again to dive deeper into personal growth and discover who I am. It's empowering to know that when I'm undetectable, that I can't transmit HIV through sex. And also that's something that I share with my clients to help them regain confidence as well.
Maintaining that undetectable viral load is so important for me because it's a significance of me honoring advocates that have fought for me to gain access to have medication to maintain an undetectable viral load. And then it's also just part of sexual liberation, right? The fact that the science is matching the data that when a person's living with HIV on their medication, on their regimen, and maintain an undetectable viral load, they cannot transmit the virus to their partner sexually. And so it is a great way to end stigma, to educate others, and to also live freely.
HIV can change over time, and if it does, it can affect how well some HIV treatments work. This is called HIV drug resistance, or sometimes you may hear it simply called resistance. Once resistance develops, it can't be reversed. But there are ways that individuals can help lower the risk of resistance. And I'd like to ask you what steps that you take personally to lower your risk.
I definitely don't want to develop a resistance to HIV medication. In order to lower that risk, I make sure I work closely with my doctors to ensure that I take my medications as prescribed. And I also use current technology, like I have an app that helps remind me to take my meds. And it's just a simple checklist that I can check it off and keep my routine, keep my daily routine going to make sure I take my meds every day.
Just like my fellow panelist, Andrew, I work closely with my provider. I'm making sure that I take my regimen as close to the daily time that I normally take it. I do have a hectic, busy life, but one thing that I definitely make sure that stays consistent in my life is when I take my medication.
I work very close with my doctor, for my medications. And I have anybody and everybody that I see connected to my primary care doctor. And I feel like I have the best of the world because my primary care doctor was my HIV doctor's understudy. So, I have a good connection. So whenever I'm having issues with my medicine, even when I had a interaction with one of my medicines, I told my primary care doctor. She told me I informed her that she needed to take a class on interactions. So I've been blessed, to be able to have such good hands on me and my care, and I'm gonna always keep them in the loop when it comes to me. Even when I go to an ER or anywhere else, that information has to be carried over to them.
Stigma can affect so many parts of life. Let's talk about how each of you has faced it and what's helped you move forward. Have you experienced or overcome stigma, or what role does community play in helping you thrive?
I have faced discrimination in dating and in jobs, but therapy has really helped me rebuild my confidence and realize my self worth has to come from me. And realizing that I'm number one, my cup is full, then after that, I can help with the greater community. And I remind myself that HIV is just a part of me, one piece of the puzzle and a final picture of who I am. And building self confidence through mental health treatment and honest conversations is what helps break down stigma for me.
I have definitely experienced stigma um, by my biological family. When I disclosed my status, they told me that I put a shame on the family. And as they discovered my status, I was actually disclosing my status in front of a group of young people, of high school students. And as I was being shamed, I was also being praised by the students for telling me how brave I was for telling my story. And that in that moment just empowered me to continue telling my story for those that want to listen and forget the naysayers. And as I kept disclosing my story, I've just found so much community, especially through my LGBTQ plus community, and they've embraced me and actually pushed me up to a leadership position so that I can continue doing this work and spread education and awareness to end stigma.
I experienced stigma from the first day that I got my diagnosis. I took this into my primary care doctor at that time that I had, and he literally stood over me and said, "You're just gonna die." My sisters took me in for a visit, and he referred me to someone, and the doctor walked in the room, said a few words, walked back in the hallway with them and everybody else and say, "It's not a gastrointestinal problem, it's just a HIV acting up. Hello, family." I would not be here today talking to y'all because my sister took that information and ran with it. She got me into the best ID doctor possible. My education started, and I learned the fact that I don't have to deal with stigma You know, I was in the hospital and my pastor came in because I was raising sin because they was trying to pump me up with pain medicine and not give me my HIV medicine, and I was fussing. So when he finally walked in, he looked at me and he said, "Sister, you got HIV?" I said, "No, Pastor, I have AIDS." So that started the education with my church family.
We're so lucky to have all of you sharing your stories to break down stigma. Okay, so the campaign Choose You emphasizes choosing protection, life, and well being. And as we wrap up, I'd love for each of you to reflect on what choosing you means to you today.
Choosing me means choosing to live healthier and present for as long as I can. When I first was diagnosed with HIV, I realized that I could either give up or go deep in loving myself, and I'm glad I chose the latter. Living with HIV has taught me balance, gratitude, and how to truly care for myself. When I picture the future, I see myself surrounded by friends and family and a life full of joy, and I love myself today more than ever before.
Choosing you has been a mantra of me developing, and I'm happy for this campaign for putting it in words. It's choosing self-love, it's choosing um, resilience, it's choosing joy, it's choosing connection, it's choosing family, it's choosing me to live my authentic truth without shame. And my full truth is that I'm a Black gay man living with HIV in America, and my intersectionality makes all parts of me beautiful.
I've chosen me for my children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren. You know, my friends always tell me, they says, "You, Joyce, you don't care who you tell you got HIV." I said, "Child, that's just a part of my life. I'm still choosing to live. I got a very healthy life. I'm more healthier now than I was before I got HIV." You know, and I'm always talking to my grandchildren, and it doesn't matter where I am. I'm gonna pull my pill out and I'm gonna poop, poop. Okay, it does not matter about what nobody thinks. I'm choosing me, and I love life because I want to be a sexy woman.
Thank you so much, Joyce. Well, today is World AIDS Day. What message do you want people, whether newly diagnosed or living long term with HIV, to take away from this conversation, especially today?
World AIDS Day is about celebrating resilience. We've come so far, and I want people to know that starting and staying on treatment as prescribed makes living a longer, healthier life possible. I also hope that people walk away with what I've learned about self care, that taking care of myself is number one, deeply honoring my own emotional and mental well being helps me be a better advocate for my community and hopefully encourages others to do the same.
Message to newly diagnosed and those continue their journey, their HIV journey, on World AIDS Day is that to look at this panel where we all have different walks of life, different stories, but what connects us is this virus. So definitely find your community, find connection. If you're a newly diagnosed person, first thing I want to tell you is okay not to be okay. And as someone that has been diagnosed for a long time, I would just tell them that, you know, continue on your HIV journey, continue discovering yourself because the fight isn't over.
Well, World AIDS Day to me, you know, even being newly diagnosed, you still got a life. You still could live. You know, it's an old saying that we used to say, "Nothing but without us." And the moment you can learn that and accept that in your heart, because it is so much love out here in our community, and World AIDS Day just represents all of that. Choose love, baby.
Oh, thank you so much. We heard a lot today about the importance of choosing you and focusing on yourself first. And we also heard that everyone's lives are different and rich in their own way. So it's important to talk to your doctor about an HIV treatment that's right for you in the long term. So thank you so much to our panelists for sharing your lived experiences and the messages of support to others living with HIV. So visit chooseyouhiv.com to learn more about different aspects of HIV care and living with HIV. Thank you, everyone.